I love a bracket. I love the Stanley Cup bracket. So let's do mine for 2024. And since the Leafs are facing Boston in round one, I need a drink. So I have my wine. I'm going to share my thoughts on my bracket for this year's playoffs. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Victoria. I talk all things Toronto sports, hockey and baseball from across the pond in Scotland. And for today's video, we're running through my NHL Bracket Challenge for 2024, which, just full transparency, I like to fill these out for sort of like the teams that I want to see there or that I think deserve to be there. But definitely my own opinion. You can disagree with me, that's completely fine. This is just what I would like to see or think may happen, I suppose. Realistically, the postseason is so unpredictable that even though there are favourites, it is always hard to predict what will happen. So this is my thoughts. I think this year's playoffs have the potential to be one of the best playoffs in recent years. All 4 division titles were decided by 5 points or less. It was a very tight finish to the year. And there's also the exciting element of potentially the Canadian Stanley Cup drought being broken because, of course, Edmonton, Toronto, Vancouver and Winnipeg are all in the Stanley Cup playoffs this year. So there is the chance that a Canadian team may be taking the cup back for the first time since 1993. So Dallas and Vegas. Now this one I really don't know what's going to happen. I feel like Dallas are by far the better team. They've been really strong all season. Meanwhile, Vegas have definitely petered out a little bit. But then again, they've got so much recent cup experience that I do always wonder how far that takes you. But to be honest, I quite like Dallas and I'd like to see them go far. And I think they've really earned their spot. So let's go for Dallas. Winnipeg and Colorado. There's some of these where I'm like dead set on who I think it's going to be or who I want it to be. I was a lot more hesitant to throw my money on. I think Winnipeg are really dependent on their goaltending. I think Hellebuck has the potential to make or break that series, but Colorado have Nathan MacKinnon. I think Colorado have got a really good roster, and so I'm going to pick Colorado. Vancouver and Nashville. This one, probably some people aren't going to like, but I kind of want the Western Conference upset to be Nashville going through. I'm not personally a big fan of the Canucks or really like the other Canadian teams, if I'm completely honest. I'm a diehard Leafs fan, and if the cup's going back to Canada, I want it to be the Leafs, to be honest. I'm not, each to their own, but I'm not one of those people that's kind of just wants a Canadian team to win it. I want the Leafs to win it. I don't want any of the rest to win it this year. And I also think, even though Vancouver have been really great contenders, they've been a great team this season, really, really impressive. I think Nashville are stronger than people are assuming them to be. I think they're the underdog in this series. I think in the first round they're one of the most underdog teams that are there, and people see them as weaker, but I'm not sure that I see them like that. They've had a really good second half to the season, and I just think this might be the upset, so I'm going to pick Nashville. Edmonton and LA. I really hadn't thought too much about my Western Conference winners. I have just been reading some, I love to read, articles every day about the NHL, so I've been reading what other people have thought about these matchups, but I didn't sit here with a solid, this is what I'm going to pick. So I'm really not sure, because I just think McDavid and stuff are so good, and I just don't know how I feel about LA. And as a Leafs fan, I really don't want to pick Edmonton, but I just have a feeling that they might do it. I don't want Edmonton to be there, but I have a feeling that they might be, so we'll go for Edmonton. And then I'm going to pick, I think Dallas might do it in 6. I think Colorado might do it in 7. I think that's going to a game 7. And I think the Vancouver-Nashville matchup will go to, I think Nashville in 6. I'm going to say 6. And then Edmonton in, let's go for 5. Dallas versus Colorado. I feel like Dallas are definitely the stronger team there. I don't really have to think about that too much. And I'm going to go for Nashville. You know what? I really like Nashville. I've got a soft spot for them. So I'm going to say that. And then, yeah, I'm going to say Dallas. I just think Dallas are such a strong team, you know? I just have a good feeling about Dallas this year. I can't wait for, in like a week or two from now, people to refer back to this video and be like, wow, she has terrible hockey takes. But it's all a bit of fun. All a bit of fun. Florida and Tampa, which by the way is a great matchup for that market. I think Florida for sure. Florida are one of the best teams in the league this year. Tampa are still good, but they're not as good as Florida. I'd be really surprised if Florida loses out to Tampa. I think that would be really shocking. Boston and Toronto. Of course I'm going to pick Toronto. Of course. Of course. I'm never going to lie. The New York Rangers versus the Washington Capitals. New York Rangers all day long. One, I think, like, they're the best. I love them as well. The Rangers are my next favourite team after the Leafs. I always say if I hadn't been a Leafs fan, I would have been a Rangers fan. And not because of the Glasgow Rangers. Definitely not. Just because I really like them. Carolina Hurricanes and the New York Islanders. I could see this one going one of two ways as well, but to be honest, I feel really set on the Canes. They had a really good trade deadline and they've got a deep roster. I can definitely see it. I think Florida will take it in 5. They're such a good team. Leafs, I think it's going to be really painful. I just don't know if they can handle a game 7. Knowing our luck as a fan base, it'll be 7. Rangers, I think that'll go to 6. I can't see any sweeps. I'm not sure I can see any sweeps in the first round. Canes and let's go for 6. Florida and the Leafs. Well, doesn't that bring back memories? Obviously, I'm going to pick the Leafs because I'm a Leafs fan. If you don't like it, that's okay. But I love the Leafs, and I don't shop about it. So, and of course, I'm picking the Rangers. Now, ideally, see this conference final. If it was the Leafs and the Rangers, that is my Stanley Cup final. I just love those two teams so much. I love original 6 teams. That's my dream matchup. And then obviously, I'm gonna pick the Leafs, and then of course I'm gonna pick the Leafs again. Obviously, total number of goals scored. I don't like to go too high scoring because I feel like goaltending can like really make or break a Stanley Cup round, and defense has to be like really good. I'm gonna go for 34, and you guys know why I'm doing that. So there we are. There is my bracket for the 2024 Stanley Cup playoffs. And just before people fill my comment section with me being delusional and me being just a stupid Leafs fan, I don't care. This is my opinion. Everyone is welcome to have their own bracket. You can completely disagree with me. You can disagree with me on every single matchup. That's totally fine. I think life would be very boring if we all thought the same way. But this is a combination of like logic, but also mixed with, I won't lie, who I'd like to see go far. These are the teams that I want to see win a cup run. I think they deserve it, and I think this year's playoffs have the potential to be really, really good. But this is my opinion, and everyone is entitled to one. I love seeing people's brackets. I love seeing what people think, and they're always so different. But this is mine for this year. I'll pop it over my face right now. So that is all for me today. I will be doing sort of little post Leafs game videos after every single Leafs playoff game. They'll be just quite short and sweet and just my stream of consciousness basically, but you guys are going to be so sick of me unless Leafs get swept, in which case there's another 4 videos to go. So there is my bracket for the 2024 Stanley Cup playoffs. Comment down below, who do you have going to the final? What does your bracket look like? I really want to hear. I love seeing other people's brackets. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. I really appreciate it, and I'll be back very, very soon with more Leafs hockey chats from across the pond. Bye guys.